All right. I'd like to call today, Monday, August 12th, 2024, regular school board meeting to order. And I want to thank everyone who came out tonight, took time to come out. And we have a sign-up sheet. A couple of you are here tonight to speak on public comments. So we're glad to hear that. I want to say hi to the teachers that are in here as well. And we wish you the best of luck in this coming up school year. We're hoping that you have a good school year. And I want to say hi to our personnel sitting over in the wings. Good to see you guys as well and gals. Thank you for all the hard work you've done throughout the summertime and all that you've done for RCPS. So again, thank you guys and thank the public for being here tonight. The first thing that I have on the agenda tonight is to approve the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cave. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed, no. All right. Motion passes 4-0. At this moment, we are going to have a moment of silence. So if you'd like to join me with a moment of silence, please do so. All right, and if you can and willing, will you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, the first thing we have on our list tonight to do is public comments. I do want to say that we have been working on the flag policy, which is going to be of interest tonight, but we've been working on this since July. We've also had more opportunities than just this one. We moved our public comments from the end of our meeting to the very beginning so we could hear the public as well. We've read emails. We've had people contact us on call us. We've talked to people in the public. So we've had a lot of discussions. I know the four here tonight has talked to a lot of community members, those for it and those against it. So we've given what I feel like Apple are enough opportunity to be able to speak to this issue. So tonight you'll hear, if you've never been here before for public comments, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. At 30 seconds, I think it is, you will hear a beep, beep, beep. That will tell you that your time is almost up. And at the end of the 3 minutes, your time will be ended then. So first on our list tonight to speak is Christina Lappard.
My name is Christina LaPrade. I'm an EL teacher at Rockingham County Public Schools and a mother of 3 girls who attend Rockingham Public Schools. I'm a U.S. citizen, and as of last year, I'm now a Mexican citizen as well. I'm a United States Air Force veteran, having served overseas, and I'm the wife of a U.S. Army combat veteran. Most importantly, I'm a child of God. But as it pertains to this letter, I'm also a voice for nearly 100 students at my school who until recently were permitted to have their flags on display. Why am I sharing this personal piece with you? As a U.S. citizen, I love my flag and I love my country. My husband and I are raising our daughters to also honor and respect the sacrifices made for their freedom. My flag and service are part of my story. My students have stories too. Some stories are abhorrent and will make you weep. Others will have you sitting in awe, amazed at the beauty of this world. They are all unique. My students love this country and they love the American flag. And every waking moment of their day, in fact, they are reminded they live in America. They are told to speak English and to salute the flag. My students work relentlessly to keep up with their peers. They are not regularly asked to share about the foods, celebrations, and customs from their countries, shy of a biannual international night or within the confines of a few classrooms. This is a disservice to every student. There's so much to their stories. They bring to school with them language, culture, and experiences that we all learn from. Their backgrounds are represented in their flags, which serve as reminders to them that their stories are valued and reminders to the rest of us that our community is more colorful than solely red, white, and blue. To remove these flags from our classrooms and foyer is to remove community. It sends the message that our students and families have little to offer outside of an American identity. The board expressed the need to remove flags from the classrooms in an effort to bring unity. The definition of unity includes an absence of diversity, but Rockingham County is a diverse county, and it's my favorite part of working here. Our students' identities and stories don't simply stop when they walk out of the classroom, nor do they only exist on special nights like International Night. While I'm teaching my daughters to grow up respecting their flag and loving their country, I'm also teaching them to see and value others and their backgrounds. To ban the flags from the halls and classrooms of our schools is to diminish the stories of thousands of our students in this county. I don't believe this is an area of compromise. We either think our kids deserve to be seen or they don't. Thank you immensely for your time and consideration.
Next on the list tonight is Janelli Lopez.
Justice is the ethical and philosophical idea that people are to be treated reasonably by the law. And what is the law pertaining to this policy? That no other nation's flag should be above the United States flag. Not once in the current law is there a mention that no other flag can be hung in schools. Hanging up on other nations' flags while giving the United States flag the respect it deserves is not an injustice, nor is it breaking the law. However, removing other nations' flags is definitely an injustice. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Removing the flags is just the beginning." I am an RCPS teacher. We have always honored the United States flag. We pledge allegiance to it every day and teach our students to do the same. Not once have we stated that these countries' flags are superior to the United States flag, nor have we tried to replace it in any way. We only ever ask to be represented to reflect our population. We are proud American educators who want to make a welcoming school for all. I had a student 2 years ago who came from Ukraine. He and his family were refugees fleeing the war. Their home wasn't safe, and he'd clearly experienced some trauma. He came to my classroom and learned the basics of English, learned how to pledge allegiance to a flag that wasn't his, and did his best to speak like the rest of my students. One day, I pulled out the flag from Ukraine, and a spark lit in his eyes. He began to sing a song in Ukrainian, and with his broken English, he opened up about how sad he was to leave his home. The student was grateful that he was able to be here safe with us, but his heart clearly still belonged to his home country. We hear and see these realities every day in our classrooms. How can we ever ask them to set aside these experiences and just assimilate? When I look at this policy to only showcase students' flags in certain locations and times, I see isolation and exclusion. Aren't our students all year long? Aren't we teaching our students to include and accept others for their differences? Flags are a part of this inclusion. They demonstrate that all are welcome. Our students' flags were removed from the foyer, even though we were respecting the United States flag. The other nations' flags were a lot smaller than the United States flag, and in no way superior. Do students only belong in the EL classrooms? Do they only belong in the cafeteria or in the library? Of course not. These students belong in the entirety of the school. If the American flag is larger than the rest and flown with the respect it deserves, why shouldn't other flags be allowed in the same area? Martin Luther King Jr. didn't ask for compromise with the civil rights movement. Abraham Lincoln didn't ask for compromise with slavery. Moses didn't agree to a compromise when releasing his people from Egypt. Similarly, I don't believe a compromise needs to be made with this policy. This comes down to whether we believe our students truly belong in the entirety of the school and if we are truly a welcoming district, because we are United States citizens, but we also represent other countries. We are your teachers and your staff. We are your parents and your students, but most importantly, we are Rockingham County Public Schools.
Thank you. Miss Courtney French.
Good evening. My name is Courtney French, and I am an English language teacher in Rockingham County. America is known as a melting pot of cultures. This term became popular in the 1900s and describes how people from different countries, ethnicities, and cultures all come together to form one prosperous and diverse nation. The idea is that people from all over the world have come to live in the United States and brought their ideas with them. We have a rich heritage, and that has come from the variety of different cultures, languages, and customs that were brought to this country from people all over the world. The current proposal to prohibit any RCPS public school from displaying any flags other than related to our country, state, and military is an insult to our country's unique and diverse history. The United States is known as the land of the free, where expression and free speech are accepted. When people of other nations come to the United States, they accept our nation's flags, laws, languages, and culture, while still holding on to the memory and history of their own country. Many people leave their nation in search of safety, stability, and a better life. They are grateful to be a part of our beautiful country and work hard to do everything they can to build a good life here. But building a new life in a new place does not mean forgetting where you came from. It does not mean forgetting about your heritage or culture or language. It does not mean assimilating into one group of people who all look, think, and act the same. When our schools display flags of different countries, it is always done in accordance with the policy and shows that we are a welcoming and caring place. When you remove our ability to display our welcoming banners, you give the impression that not everyone is welcome here. Is that the example that we want to teach our children? As Rockingham County Public School teachers, it is our duty to make sure that all students feel safe and welcome in all of our buildings. By restricting where we can and cannot display flags, it gives the impression that students are welcome in some places but not others. It may send the message that you don't belong here. We are respectfully asking the school board to reconsider this proposal. It not only sends the message that diversity isn't welcome or accepted in Rockingham County Public Schools, but it also shows teachers and administrators that you do not trust their educated and experienced judgment. Thank you.
Sandy Emsweiler.
Good evening, school board members. First of all, I would like to say that I support the flag policy as presented. This policy allows display much more than a lot of other school policies that do not allow, districts don't allow any display. But actually tonight, I would talk a little bit more about something else. I want to readdress the subject of public prayer at the beginning of the meetings. I realize that this may not seem as important to some of you, for there's so many needs that you need to address. But to take a minute to verbally and publicly ask God's wisdom and blessing for your meetings is most important thing you can do. Understand that this could lead to lawsuits and therefore require more of your time, but sometimes there are things that are worth fighting for. Benjamin Franklin, who was a more worldly man than many of his peers, stated at the Constitutional Convention in 1787, "I therefore beg leave to move that henceforth prayers imploring the assistance of heaven and its blessings on our deliberations be held in this assembly every morning before we proceed to business." This statement appears to have started bringing together the opposite parties and eventually led to compromises which produced our Constitution. Samuel Adams put forth a motion at the meeting of the First Congress in 1789 to open each session with prayer. That motion was passed, and both the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate continue today to open both of their sessions with prayer, as well as the Virginia House of Delegates, the Virginia Senate, and the Rockingham County Board of Supervisors, just to name a few. So I'd like to ask you to reconsider your position on opening your meetings with prayer. Your time and effort will be well worth it. Thank you for your consideration.
This concludes our public comment list for tonight, and we will go into our board member highlights. And I will start with Ms. Ashley Berglund.
I don't have many highlights. I've been really busy getting my kids ready for back to school, as I know lots of parents and students have been teachers, everybody. So I feel like the summer has blown by. I did, since we last met, have an opportunity to go to Montevideo Middle School to their summer school, and that was really cool. The teachers were really welcoming, and I got to hang out during lunch, and it was just a really fun experience to see how summer school operates in our middle schools, since it's been a few years since I've been in school. So one of my other highlights is, and I do this every year, I coach cheerleading for our Parks and Rec for a lot of our students, most of our elementary school students. So I've got 3rd and 4th graders. So we just started doing that. So I just wanted to shout them out because they're awesome, and they've, they're already back in the schools and practicing and doing all that stuff. So it's one of the things that I love to do and hang out with our kids in a different capacity outside of school. So those are my highlights.
Ms. Hurst?
Thank you. I want to highlight that, first of all, I just want to say thank you and welcome back to school teachers. They started back today officially, but also as a former teacher, I know that our teachers have been working here for a good many more weeks than just today. And so welcome back to school. We're looking forward to a great year, and thanks for all your hard work this summer. And as you're heading back into school, we know our students are going to be doing great things. The other highlight I want to offer is this summer, maybe a month ago, I got to go to see one of Miss Deason. She's the theater teacher at Turner Ashby High School. She offers a summer camp in theater, and it was just incredible. So I went and saw their final performance. She had these campers in elementary and middle school, and they had 1 week to put together performances, and then parents and family members came and saw their performance, and it was just incredible what was accomplished in just really just 15 hours worth of camp. But what I thought was really amazing, and my highlight, was that she allowed the middle school writers to write the script for their plays. And I even got to see one of my former students from Audubon. He was an author for one of the plays, and it was just incredible to see what these kids are capable of in such a small, our kids are amazing and capable of a great many things, but it was just a highlight really to go and see these kids just excel in this area and have such a great time. So that's my highlight.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Ms. Cave?
My highlight is I was able to attend the summer graduation for the high school kids in all of our high schools. And I guess this just hits me more personally. Many moons ago, I had a friend that missed his senior graduation by one class, and it was government class. And he was 18. So, could have made the choice to not finish out and just quit. And he didn't, and that was so long ago. So this has been my first experience really since then with attending a summer graduation. And it almost brings me to tears because these kids, really, they're not kids anymore. Many of them are already 18, and they could have made the conscious decision to just, I'm out of school. Like, I don't have to go back for one class or two or whatever paper it is that I have to write. Like, it requires so much extra push from them and willingness. And as I sat there, it brought me to tears because it's so important to finish off this stage in their life as a success story, rather than giving up and quitting. And so anyways, I was very proud to see them. I think I would like to be even more involved, I think, with the summer graduations. I don't even know how we possibly could do that and just, make it big and bright and really, really celebrate those kids. And I was really proud of them. So that really was the highlight of my summer. I'm always in awe at this time of year when all the teachers are so busy getting their classrooms, because I'm almost still in full-on summer swing mode, and they're not. They're getting ready. They're like, summer's over and we're ready, and they're willing. They're ready to get in those classrooms and meet their new students and want everything to be perfect. So this is always just, it's a great time of year to get to watch, to see, our very dedicated employees get ready to get back into that swing of things and start things off strong. And so anyways, thank you to all the teachers for that and all the staff that worked over the summertime. But those are my highlights. Sorry, sometimes I'm emotional.
I am too. Thank you, Ms. Cave. Dr. Shipley?
Thank you. I would like to also echo Ms. Hurst's welcome back to our teachers. And also, I would like to recognize all of our custodians who worked tirelessly this summer preparing preparing our schools top to bottom, waxing floors and making sure everything looks great. Because next week we have company coming, right? And we want to be ready. Also, I had an opportunity last week to attend our new teacher orientation, and we welcomed over 100 new teachers to Rockingham County Public Schools. And so it was great to be a part of some of those activities. So thank you, Chair Cross.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. My highlight is one of them is what Ms. Cave said. I had the opportunity to attend the East Rockingham summer school graduation with all 4 high schools, and it was an honor to see all the kids that graduate there and their families to celebrate them walking across that stage, and to hear Mark Palmer give the commencement speech there was really good. He didn't give a long speech. I thought it was to be a little longer than what he did, but it was short and sweet and to the point. And we're going to miss Mr. Palmer in our schools here, and hopefully he comes back and does some subbing, and we can find him a place to work. So my other one tonight is I want to recognize Caleb Bailey. He's with us tonight, and he's sitting over here. He is our new safety director in Rockingham County Public Schools, and I just want to. You're a vision come true. Years ago, I was working as a school resource officer in the schools, and definitely after Sandy Hook in 2010, as I sat there with Alicia Curl Clark as she sits back in the back tonight as I see her. But we were in the front office at Spotswood when Sandy Hook happened, and Governor Bob McDonald after that put together a school safety task force. And on that list was that every school division would hire a school safety director. Some schools throughout the Commonwealth, they hired a professional person for that position, while other divisions like ours, we put that responsibility upon someone else's shoulders within the division. And so this has been a dream come true, a vision, as I sat there and I thought, you know what, this is one position that helps hold the schools accountable from within, keeping our kids and our students, our students and our teachers safe while they're at school. So I'm really excited to have you come along. The board as a whole is as well. As I speak, I know that I speak as a board when we say welcome, and we're looking for great things to happen, and just to continue the legacy of safety here in Rockingham County Public Schools. So Caleb, welcome to RCPS, and we look forward to you doing great things. All right, that's the end of highlights tonight. The first thing we'll go into tonight is action items. And we have a list of action items tonight to go into. So and the first on our list tonight is the minutes of the July 8th, 2024 meeting, and the July 23rd work session meeting. Do I hear a motion for that?
I move to approve the minutes of the July 8th, July 23rd, and August 6th, 2024 meetings as presented. I thought I'd go ahead and
Thank you.
let's just chunk them all together.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Bergeline. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed, no. Our motion passes 4-0. All right. Next on the list tonight is bills and mileage. And Dr. Shiflett, you have that.
Yep. Chair Cross and board members, I recommend approval of the July 2024 bills as presented.
All right. Hearing the recommendation of the superintendent, do I hear a motion to approve that?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to approve the July 2024 bills as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All opposed, no. Motion passes 4-0. Field trips. Dr. Shiflett, you have that as well.
Chair Cross and board members, I have one field trip for your consideration. Wilbur S. Pence Middle School, FFA, the Big E competition, September the 12th to the 15th. 3 students, Springfield, Massachusetts, and I do recommend approval of this field trip.
Thank you. Board members hearing that, do I hear a motion?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to approve the field trip as presented.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hurst. Do I hear a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Bergeloin. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, no. Motion passes 4-0. Next on the list tonight is the 2024 school board meeting schedule.
Chair Carlson, board members, I recommend approval of the revised 2024 school board meeting schedule as presented, and I would like to highlight that particular change. We were hoping to, on the original schedule, August 26th, we were slated to be at Rockingham Academy, but we also have this beautiful addition that we have nearly completed, right, Steve? Okay, yes, thumbs up. That's going to be ready next Tuesday. And we would like to have an open house for the community prior to a school board meeting at Broadway High School on the 26th. So that's the reason for that change. So I recommend approval of that change to the calendar.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. Board Minister, do I hear a motion? Sorry.
I move to approve the revised 2024 school board meeting schedule as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Burgoyne. Any questions or comments? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed, no. All right, motion passes 4-0. All right, next on the list tonight is a resolution authorizing superintendent to reassign personnel. And do you want to read that, or do you have that? I'll pull it up. You want to read that already? Right. By resolution of Rockingham County School Board, Larry Shiflett, Division Superintendent, is hereby authorized to reassign principals, assistant principals, and teachers to any school within the school division for the 2024-2025 school year pursuant to Virginia Code 22.1-297. This resolution was approved August 12th, 2024. Do it. All right. All right. So I should have said I move for that. We have a. Okay. Yeah. Want to make a recommendation?
I'll read it. I move to adopt the resolution authorizing the superintendent to reassign personnel pursuant to Virginia Code Section 22.1-297.
Thank you, Ms. Burgoyne. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Any questions, comments?
I have a question.
Okay.
This is something that we do yearly. Okay, I thought I remembered seeing it done when Dr. Scheichel was here. And then those changes would still come across our desk with personnel, right? So we're still aware of all the movement that gets made. Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed, no. Motion passes 4-0. All right, policy JHCF, non-school employees working in schools.
The following policy was presented as information at the work session on August 6, 2024, and is now being submitted for action. JHCF, non-school employees working in school.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. As school members, do I hear a motion to approve that?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to adopt policy JHCF as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Burgoyne. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed, no. All right, motion passes 4-0. Next on our list tonight is policy JFCF, alcohol and drugs in school. And Dr. Shiflett, you have that as well.
Yes, the following policy was discussed between board members and division personnel at the work sessions on June 18th, 2024 and July 23rd, 2024. Revisions were made to the policy based on those discussions, and the revised policy was presented as information at the work session on August 6th, 2024. The policy is now being submitted for action. JFCF, alcohol and drugs in school.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. Hearing the superintendent's recommendation, board members, do I hear a motion to pass that?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Burgoyne. Second? Thank you, Ms. Cave. Any questions or comments on this? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed, no. Motion passes 4-0. All right, policy JZK, use of student-owned electronic devices. And Dr. Shiflett, you have this as well.
Yes, again, this policy was discussed between board members and division personnel at the work sessions on June 18th and July 23rd, 2024. The first revision to the policy was presented as information at the regularly scheduled meeting on July 8th. Additional revisions were made to the policy based on discussions and feedback. The most recent policy revisions were presented as information at the work session on August 6th. The policy is now being submitted for action. JZK, use of student-owned electronic devices.
Thank you, Dr. Shifford. Hearing the superintendent's recommendation, school board members, do I hear a motion?
I move to follow the superintendent's recommendation to approve the revisions to policy JZK as presented.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hurst. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cave. Any questions or comments on this one?
On the subject of cell phone policy, my vote tonight is yes for so many reasons. I think many of which are echoed a lot by other board members, other parents in our community. The hard part is for our students. I have a teenager at home who's not really thrilled about the way his mom's going to vote tonight. But so often our children are not really thrilled with the decisions that we make for them, but they are in the best interest for them. Whether or not a student chooses to view this as such, my vote tonight is a gift. It's a gift of 7 hours of cell phone free time out of your day. I had that gift 25 years ago, and I want it for my son. I want it for all of our children, I think, and I want it for our teachers too. I think it's going to make our academic environment so much more productive and better. I know there have been some concerns. I think maybe Dr. Shiflett might speak to them tonight, or he can speak to this probably better than I can. We understand transportation needs come up, right? Like last year, I would just text my son, "Hey, I'm picking you up." I didn't want him to reply back to me. I was hoping he was not checking his cell phone throughout the day. I didn't want a response. I just wanted, at 3 o'clock when he was done with the day, he could pull up his phone and know whether he was walking home or if I was picking him up. So I do believe we've got parent email addresses that you'll be able to email your kiddo, that same thing. And then we've had lots of inquiries about students with medical needs or IEPs. Absolutely, of course, if your child has an IEP and it requires a device, they will still be allowed to have access to that device when it's necessary. And same thing for documented medical conditions or those who have other accommodations. We have a plan for that. It'll be okay. I understand those are all excellent concerns that you all have shared. And I believe Dr. Shiflett and our principals all have a plan in place for that. And finally, parents and guardians, I would plead with you to get up to speed quickly on the dangers of cell phone use. And the things that your kids can be getting into. Read the book, The Anxious Generation. Highly recommend it. Lots of great research in there. We've been saying I've been saying for years, when iPads came out, 14, 15 years ago, this is a really big experiment that we're doing on our children without any data. Here's an iPad with lots of apps, lots of games. And we're right to be cautious about that kind of thing. And now 15 years later, the research is starting to show that we were right to be cautious about the amount of screen time that we give to our kids. But even as they're going into adulthood, there are so many things that we need to be aware of as parents. So my plea is for parents to take a look. If you haven't ever looked at what your kids are doing on their cell phones, take a look and see what they're doing on their cell phones. Lots of great apps out there to help parents guide their children through this. But anyway, tonight my vote is yes. And whether or not children choose to view that as a gift, I'm sorry, it's a gift.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Any other any other comments?
I just quickly, obviously agree with all of that, but one thing that I would add that Ms. Hurst talked about was academic environment, and that's something that I really ran my campaign on last year, is changing the environment within our schools, and that's why we're looking at a lot of these policies that people are like, why are you doing this or that or the other? We need to focus on academic excellence and all of, and those things are coming, but I think that we're laying the groundwork for it first so that our classrooms can be free of distractions, because they're not going to learn if they don't have an environment that they can learn well in. And so this is part of that, and it's so important. And I said in a recent work session or somewhere that, you know, when my kids have gotten in trouble and I've taken their devices away, and I've done it for long periods of time before, when I would finally give it back to them, they didn't want it anymore. So I really honestly believe that over the course of the next, you know, weeks, months, maybe years, I even think that parents will find a difference in their children when they come home in the evenings. There's no way to better say what she just said other than that this is a gift that we're giving not only our students, but our teachers, and hopefully, you know, the future generations that come up out of Rockingham County Public Schools.
Thank you, Ms. Cave. Ms. Burgle, you want to say anything?
I just want to reiterate what Ms. Hurst said about any kind of exceptions for, and that was one big concern, was what about medical needs? What about different, you know, IEPs, 504s, things like that. So that's something that I certainly take very seriously and don't want a child to be without for safety reasons. You know, that's important for me, for the kids to have them. We had a lot of suggestions that the phones be completely removed, completely taken away, out of their possession, and that was an absolute no for me. So I definitely am, you know, sympathetic to medical concerns and things like that. That's really important for me, for those kids to have them on their person and while on silent. So I just want to reiterate that all the schools will be very lenient and, you know, accommodating with those things. So.
All right. I just echo everything that you guys have said tonight. Thank you. I know, I just want to say again that Dr. Shiflett has stated that this is going to be a heavy lift, especially for our high school admin. And just thank you for the updates as we get going here throughout the first of the year and see how that's going. I know the first, it's not going to impact much of the rising ninth graders, the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. It will, because the rising ninth graders, this is the same thing that they had in middle school. So nothing's changing in the middle school or elementary, but in the high school, and I think it's going to bring forth a good change. Like Ms. Cave has said, and you guys have said tonight, this is going to bring forth good change within our schools. And I think we're going to see the impact of this in the years to come. And even when we had our last cell phone policy that we adopted, I think about 1.5 years ago, I can remember one student from Spotswood coming up to me when I was visiting the school and saying, thank you for adopting what you did in the classroom, because I feel like I connect more with my friends now while not being on the phone. So this is just a little bit more stricter. This is where we wanted to go and head to, and I'm fully in support of that. So hearing no more comments or questions tonight, all those in favor of this policy say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed, no. All right, motion passes 4-0. All right. So this is going to be the last one. The last on our action list tonight is policy CY, flag decor and displays. And do I hear a motion for that?
I move to approve policy CY as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Cave. Any questions or comments on this tonight? Any questions or comments?
I want to share a few thoughts. On the subject of international flags, we have gotten so much feedback from parents and teachers and community members. I just want to share a little bit of thoughts. I don't know if you've noticed, but we did make some changes to the policy draft to allow those with a few changes. But in preparation for tonight, I did do a little research because I was convinced that the Statue of Liberty, an internationally recognized symbol of freedom and democracy, that they would have flags from all over the world to show that we welcome immigrants here. And I was wrong. So I thought, surely Ellis Island, the place where over 12 million immigrants have been welcomed to America, surely Ellis Island would have lots of international flag. And I was wrong. They don't have them either. I was actually really shocked by that one. I think the displays are beautiful for all the reasons that were shared here tonight by many of our speakers. I think they're beautiful. And we want to make sure that we allow those flags to still be present in our spaces. And so I think you'll see, if you look through the policy, that we have made allowances for that. But I also want to just say that it's not the flags that make our schools welcoming. It's never been the flags that have made the schools welcoming. It's the people. It's our teachers. It's the people who work in our building. It's the culture that you build in your building that make our schools welcoming. So I'm pleased that we're still going to be allowing them, but I also just want to say, like, it's never been about you all do that work. You all create that space for our students to feel accepted and welcomed in Rockingham County. So I just wanted to add that little bit. I found that research a little bit interesting, but the bottom line for me is we want all students to feel welcomed here, but we also, we're an American school, and our deference and our priorities should be to that allegiance. So,
Any other comments, board members? I want to say tonight that I'm sad that we have to have a flag policy in the first place, and I know that you're able to control the outburst, so please let me talk. You had an opportunity to speak during public comments and you didn't, so now it's not the time to do that. I just want to say tonight, I'm sad that we have to have a flag policy because we live in such a generation that there are so many causes for. I mean, every cause that you can think of that's out there has a flag attached to it. And I can tell you right now that if we had Christians inside our schools and they had the Christian flags hanging, that we would get complaints on those flags. And so tonight, this isn't about international flags not being able to. I love the flags as well. I've devoted my life, and I would say almost to none, to almost anyone else in here, traveling to Central America and giving of my time and my life to people that I love. And so this is not about that I don't love all of our students within our schools. And as you can see tonight in the policy, that what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that when our kids walk into our class, into our schools, we want them to see in our predominant places the American flag, because it's the American taxpayers that send all of our kids to school, who pay our teachers' salaries, who have the heat on and the AC on, who provide multi-million-dollar buildings inside of our community for all students to attend. Not only do they attend, but we feed all students if they cannot afford it. Not only do we feed them their breakfast, but we also serve lunch. And many students also go home because of community members giving out meals for them to eat during the night and over the weekends. So we are a very welcoming community. We are a very welcoming board. And I wanted to first say that tonight. And secondly, I wanted to say that those that were hanging in Peakview and also in Montevideo were found to be out of compliance with the fire code, with the fire marshals. And so those flags in the first place should have never been up there because they were blocking exit signs, and they're also blocking fire extinguishers that were inside of our schools. And so what we're saying is we are allowing them to be in the cafeteria or the library. I went to Peakview and I talked with the librarian that was there, and she said, you know what, I would love to have them in my library because they're great starter conversations for our children when they come into the library. So I think that's a great place for the flags to be seen. And when we have visitors or students coming in, I want them to see the American flag as the predominant flag, because it was Americans that have given us this opportunity. And I want to thank the veterans and the soldiers who have given their lives for this opportunity for all of us to be able to experience the American dream that I want all of our people here in America to assimilate and to be a part of our great nation and to be a part of our community, because if we don't assimilate as Americans, we don't have a nation. And so I want all of us to be proud to be an American. And I'll end with this. I reached out to other friends of mine that are from other nations. And I asked one student that he just came 2 years ago. He came on a religious visa from El Salvador. And him and his parents are living up in Northern Virginia. And I asked him, I said, in your school in Northern Virginia, do you have all kinds of other national flags? Was your Salvadorian flag inside the school? And he said, no, why? I said, wait a second, your flag wasn't being flown inside the school? He said, well, they had flags inside of the foreign language classrooms and in the ESL classrooms, but no, in my school, the only flag that we had was the American flag. And I said, well, how'd that make you feel? Did it feel like you wasn't welcomed in your school? And he said, no. He said, that American flag made me feel welcome when I walked in. And so I believe there are many who do feel this welcomeness spirit that we have and that we've displayed and we are continuing to display in Rockingham County. So my vote tonight is going to be for the policy. Any other questions or comments tonight by board members? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed say no. Motion passes 4-0. Next on the list, that turns us into the information items. It gets us past action items. And first on the list tonight is Ready for School 2024-2025. And Dr. Shiflett, you have this.
Chair Cross and members of the board, I would like to do just a brief highlight. Students come next Tuesday and we're getting ready. And I think we're pretty close. So this, excuse me. Register to come to school. Now, we will not have official numbers until our next meeting to who actually shows, right? Occasionally we'll have students who maybe were with us last year, right? They moved and maybe forgot to tell us, right? And they're in Augusta or some other place, right? You know, Harrisonburg or wherever. So that number may change, but I wanted to just give you a sense of it. As it stands now, it's like 250 more students than last year, but we'll have to wait and see if it really comes to fruition. And they're the out-of-district non-resident students, 14 more than last year. So we have hired 104 new teachers to Rockingham County Public Schools. 43 of them are first-year teachers. And last Wednesday and Thursday, our staff spent time with them, helping them prep and get ready. This group of people you see pictured here. That was our secondary crew of teachers and mentors. Remaining vacancies, licensed vacancies, we have a reading specialist position, an ag teacher position, a half-time counselor, and half-time Spanish. We also have some classified vacancies of behavior support assistant, instructional assistants, special ed assistants, custodians, food service workers, and bus drivers. And as always, we're looking for substitutes. So that's kind of where we are. And I just want to say a big shout out to Dr. Amy Painter for all of her hard work in getting these vacancies filled. She has worked around the clock, getting folks in line and getting them in position. Some facility updates. So one of the big ones we mentioned earlier, and I have some pictures and a few slides, the completed Broadway High School addition. Right, Steve? Yes, okay, great. I just make sure. We had the startup of the sewer treatment plant at Linville Edom Elementary School, so that was big. We did pre-order mechanical and electrical equipment for Elkton Elementary School renovation and finished the design work on this project. That'll probably be going out to bid this fall and then beginning work sometime in next spring, maybe March or April. Completed design work on McGaheysville Elementary, started design work for MTC. We're still in the process of that. The keyless entry system installed on specific exterior doors. Okay, so we're waiting for the cards to come and get those programmed. Resurfaced the stage floor at Broadway High School, installed sidewalk at Annex Door at Elkton Middle, installed perimeter fencing at Folks Run, resurfaced track at J. Frank Hilliard Middle School. This is all summer work. Poured concrete slab at main entrance at J. Frank Hilliard, replaced cottage windows at Linville Edom Elementary School. upgraded lighting to LED lights at Lacey, installed ADA bathroom and sped classroom at Lacey, repaved part of the back parking lot at MES, installed playground fence at McGaheysville Elementary School, resurfaced long jump and triple jump lanes at Montevideo, replaced all flush valves at Peakview Elementary School, repaved area at loading dock at Spotswood, painted exterior doors at front of Spotswood, painted exterior walls in the classrooms of the second floor at Turner Ashby High School, upgrade lighting to LED lights at South River that will be finished this fall, and then we will refinish the gym floors at Wilbur Pence this fall and resurface the track at East Rock and Turner Ashby. So a lot happening this summer. So I gave a shout out to the custodians, but also now to our maintenance staff and our workers and Steve and his crew for doing all of these things that's hard to do when students are in the building, right? So summertime comes and they're all in. So I really appreciate their efforts. Some just quick photos of the addition at Broadway High School. And again, our meeting in August, the second meeting will be there. So you'll have a chance to see some of the spaces. But looking at the aerial, the drone views of the addition there on the back side, and then some of the interior. And I know they're really excited for this, opening up these new spaces. Food service, 14 schools are receiving free breakfast and lunch through the community eligibility provision this year. 2 middle schools, Elkton and J. Frank, and then 12 elementary schools. So it's easier just to say which ones are not, okay? John Wayland, McGaheysville, and Peakview. Federal dollars, yep. And then, yes, we have to cover, we get reimbursed from the federal dollars, and then also, you know, from some of the schools that are paying at other places. Then J. Frank, Hilliard, and Linville Edom are new to the program this year. So we had 12 last year. We have 14 this year. And we're also, once again, participating in the Department of Defense fresh fruit and vegetable programs, okay? Transportation updates, 158 general education buses or routes are ready to run. I think we're still maybe short a couple of drivers. 15 special ed buses, 16 total sped assistants, 30 car and van drivers, and we have 7 double routes. And that is a decrease from last year. We had 9. And currently we have 12 buses or vans that travel to Charterhouse, Governor's School, Elk Hill, Keys Academy, Minnick, Blue Ridge Community College, and Via in Charlottesville. And that's a wrap. And again, these, department, our maintenance department, transportation department, food service do a lot of work behind the scenes in the summer to prep and get ready for the new school year. So I feel like we're ready on that end. We're having some open houses, back to school night starting, I think, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and students come on Tuesday. So, very good. Yep.
Awesome. Next on our list tonight is ticket systems for events for the 2024-2025 school year by Tom Brady. I mean, this is Eric Baylor coming to the podium tonight.
If I'm Tom Brady, I need to get on a diet. But it's good to see everyone tonight, Chair Cross, members of the board, Dr. Schiffel. I come before you tonight with informational items in regard to an additional way to enter our games, our activities at high schools in Rockingham County. What I'm coming in front of you guys with tonight are 3 different options for payment to get into a game here. Let me see if I can work this thing. There we go. First of all, what we're trying to do is give more people options and less wait when they come to our games in our county school system. And first of all, there's always going to be the cash option. Nothing will change there. Tickets will still be sold. If you all want to pay cash, you're still able to pay cash for tickets. But we want to add a credit card option. And we've got a credit card option that we can go through, which is the company called GoFan, which is the same company that services all the Virginia High School League playoffs all the way through the state championship. There is a link there in regard to that you guys can peruse that talks about how it works. The important thing is it doesn't work through Rockingham County's infrastructure, our internet system. It's tied into the cloud, so we wouldn't have to worry about any potential data breaches through our own system. So what can happen on game night is that if you come to a game in Rockingham County, you can pay cash, you can pay through credit, or you can continue to get your phone order tickets through GoFan. And so essentially, there's 3 different options to get into games. I think this will speed up the process of getting in. I know some board members have some folks that are playing in some of those games, and if they're the first batter, you may be able to get up there quicker on an away game. The advantages of GoFan and the advantages of this particular system is the added convenience of 3 payment options for the game and event. Number 2, the GoFan box office doesn't connect with the RCPS Wi-Fi, as I stated before. So thus, there's no way that data would travel through our system. Number 3, this will speed up the entry process to events as fans will have multiple options for payment. It also improves bookkeeping for activities directors as they'll count and have to handle less cash. One of the things that happens is when that end of that games come or the end of those events come, that cash has to be carried, it has to be counted, it has to be accounted for and put into a safe. And then the 5th thing is that GoFan sends 1 check per event to the athletic directors within 1 week of the event. So that is a smooth and clean process of our schools getting paid from GoFan. And again, the real disadvantage that we see here is that GoFan does charge a $1 processing fee per ticket for credit card and debit card purchases. So again, I kind of look at this as we're trading time for money. In this situation, you are paying an additional $1 in hopes that that's going to speed up the process of you getting in and out of the stadium. But there is that processing fee, which is the only real negative that I see. I do want to let the board members know, and Dr. Shiflett, that we do have VHSL state passes coming your way, which will allow you all free access to all of the Valley District games, not to mention that, but also playoff games as we work our way through state or regional and state championship potentials in our VHSL activities. Do you all have any questions or concerns?
I called you up
Sure.
when we saw this coming on the agenda, and board members, one of the things that I was concerned about, that we were concerned about the last time last year when they presented this, was of them taking away the option for cash. And my concern was, as we went over to Albemarle County to play one of the games last year, and my in-laws came, and I'm not going to say they're old because they're not, but when they got there, them trying to use an app was a little, they just want to, here's my cash, I want to go watch the game, right? And so I wanted to make sure that we kept that option for our parents and for students if they do want to pay cash, that's there. And this does give us that opportunity to keep a cash option. The second thing I did ask Mr. Baylor if he'd go back and talk with the ADs. One of the things that I would like to do is to see how much it would cost us if we allowed free admission for our students to go to games. That thought's been thrown around for a long time. But what would that expense be on the RCPS of giving back to our athletic directors programs if we allowed students to come watch their fellow students play in their sports? And I definitely would like to see that option of kids being able to come for free to the game. They're going to spend some money somewhere, and more than likely they're going to spend that money at the concession stand. But anybody else have any questions or comments? Mr. Baylor?
I just maybe have a quick question for you. When this was brought up last time, you didn't go forward with it, right?
I think it was
Okay.
a different, was GoFan the same one as we did last time?
Well, this gives us 3 options. I think last time it was just 2
Yeah.
in regard to the cell phone purchase
Yeah.
and the cash purchase. But we certainly do not want to take away the cash purchase. I think we all know people who are going to come to these events who are going to come with cash and cash only, and we want to give them the opportunity for as long as they bring cash to use cash.
And as I recall, last time it was brought before the board that was really an option they didn't want to give at that time. They wanted everyone to go towards using the card or the app. So.
And we certainly don't want to take that option away. Because as we talked.
That was my
before,
first question. is
We
yeah,
all
it's
have
like-
plenty of friends and kinfolk that are going to show up with cash, and that's the only way they understand. And and I'm not that far removed from that option either.
Me
To be
either.
honest with you guys. So,
Any other questions, comments, Ms. Hurst, Ms. Burgoyne?
I would just like to make one comment. If we're going to think about potentially at some point allowing students to be in free, I think the ADs need to track very carefully how many students are attending games. So we're not just trying to make a guess.
Right.
Like
Right.
if we don't allow students, right, if we give them free admission, and that's, I mean, I like that idea, right? It's great, but then how many dollars are they losing, right? And I would like some actual
Absolutely,
data,
yeah.
not just, well, we think we had 200 students at the football game and maybe we only had 100 or
That's-
maybe we had 400, right? So that would be helpful to us. So maybe you guys, the season really hasn't officially started.
Right.
So maybe you guys can start tracking students versus non-students.
we actually had a activities directors meeting today, and that was one of our business items on our agenda. So they're going to collect that data, and so they can give us something concrete and not just a
Ballpark.
shoot from the hip, assessment. We're going to have something concrete for you all as the year goes on.
Okay.
So we'll get that to you.
That's
by all
great.
means.
That's great.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Policy manual, next on the list, and it's going to come from Dr. Shiflett.
Per policy, BF, Board Policy Manual, the superintendent shall ensure that an annual announcement is made at the beginning of the school year. Are you ready? Prepare yourselves. This is going to be big. Annual announcement. The School Board Policy Manual is posted on the Rockingham County Public Schools webpage, accessible to employees and the public. Printed copies are available as needed to citizens who do not have online access. Further, changes in the school board policy are presented at open school board meetings predominantly as informational items to be approved at a later date. The school board welcomes input to the proposed revisions by school board members, administrators, teachers, parents, and other concerned citizens.
You did a good job. You got a rating. Really, that was good, Dr. Shiflett. Thank you for that announcement.
I know you've been waiting.
I have. I was really seeing how well you would do there with that announcement. All right. Next is D, school board meeting schedule for 2025.
Yeah, so for information, go back to previous read policy statement, right? We're presenting this for information. We'll bring it back for action. The school board meeting schedule for 2025, and this is a draft. Some important things to note about the proposed calendar. The second meeting in May is on a Tuesday because of Memorial Day. Also, there was an instance where we had to switch locations and have schools host the first meeting of the month. October 13th switched the locations due to Columbus Day, and the county admin being is closed on that day. So it's for information. Take a look at it, and if you have some thoughts or comments about changes, then we can discuss those.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have a comment or a thought, and that would be, I'm sure that Rockingham County Fair has not posted next year's fair schedule, or maybe somebody knows next August's schedule, but I would love for us to not meet the week of Rockingham County Fair.
Fair enough.
Several of us volunteer lots at different booths, and it probably would have been there tonight if we hadn't have had a board meeting. We've got lots of students involved. We love our fair. And so I see that this is my first time living this schedule. And I see that we've now got 2 meetings in June and 2 in July. So something to consider is that maybe we meet before school starts, but not as late as August 25th or something in there. Somebody take a look at those dates when this fair is over. And
Did you say start early?
well, I would think that whenever we don't have our proposed school start date, but I would imagine that there are some things that we would need to meet on and take care of before the first day of school, or even before teachers go back to work, kind of like now. So I don't know how we can work that out, but maybe we just meet once in August and it not be it not be the week of the fair. That would be my proposal.
Right.
My
And
thoughts.
I think if there would be a need for a personnel meeting, that could be, taken care of in the morning or something and not interfere with those commitments to help with the food booths. And, typically in the summer, we've had one in June and one in July. So now if we reverse that, right, and do 2 in June, 2 in July, maybe we can get by with 1 in August with some support for personnel perhaps. So we'll take a look at it and see. And I'm not sure if the fair dates for next year have been identified, but
Probably just trying to live this week right now.
that's would be my guess.
Thank you, Dr. Shiflett. Next on the list is the financial review for July of 2024, and board members, that is in your packet for tonight. That will conclude our informational items for tonight and will lead us to school board questions or comments, and I'll start with Ms. Cave.
I don't have any comments tonight, but I don't see the financial review in mine.
You don't? All right.
Could you just, maybe we check that once this meeting's over?
Yeah, if it's not in there, we'll make sure that you get that. Thank you for,
I don't have anything.
okay. All right. Ms. Hurst?
Nothing here.
All right, Ms. Burgoyne?
I just wanted to shout out to Miss Laura, who's not here. She's obviously at the fair and working very hard with our students, and just wanted to say that I appreciate her for doing that. And I know she's been working very hard, and I'm looking forward to going to the fair. So hopefully not as many times as last year, but I want to keep it to a minimum. Less than 3 days with my kids, I'm hoping. We'll see. So I hope everyone has a good last week of no school. So.
Thank you, Ms. Burgoyne. Dr. Shiflett, do you have anything?
I just wanted to make a comment in regards to cell phones in schools. I just want to echo, please read The Anxious Generation. Please. It will help you, especially if you're a parent with teenage children. It will help shape your understanding and the thoughts of that. And we are getting ready and geared up to start with our Away for the Day campaign. So that's kind of going to be our slogan, Away for the Day, and start communicating that out with families and students and making sure everyone is aware. So just wanted to let you know about that.
All right. I just want to say, give a shout out to Rockingham County Fair. Hopefully people are going to that this week. And if you haven't had an opportunity to go out to the fair, please go out there and support our kids and all that that they're doing in the barns and the FFA booths and all the chicken shacks that will go towards Rockingham County. The lemonade stand that's out there for Reefy. Please go out there and get you some lemonade. Support Reefy as well. And thank you guys for coming tonight to this board meeting. We have reason to go into closed session? Do I hear a motion to go into closed session tonight?
I move that the board enter a closed meeting to discuss and consider the following pursuant to the provisions of Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A, personnel, specific public officers, appointees, or employees for the purpose of considering such individuals' assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation. And A2, one or more particular students specifically related to requests regarding compulsory school attendance based on religious beliefs that would involve disclosure of information contained in a scholastic record concerning a student.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Ms. Cave. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes. Yes, all opposed, no. Motion passes 4-0. We are currently in closed session. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Good.